Hello everyone, my name is Sweet, and in this video I'm going to be showing you 4 different ways to get infinite lava using the crate mod. First, we're going to look at how we can combine a vanilla dripstone lava farm using the crate mod. Then we're going to throw some buckets of lava through a nether portal. I will also show you how to use a train to transport lava from the nether. And finally, we're going to make an infinite lava pool. So I'm going to start off by placing down some cauldrons for a dripstone farm. I'm placing them one block up in the air so we can fit some fluid pipe below them later. Now I'm going to place some solid blocks one block above them, leaving room for the dripstone that we'll add later. Then I'm just using trapdoors for the edges up here. And we're going to need these to go all the way around so that it will contain our lava. Then go ahead and get some lava buckets. You'll need 10 buckets to fill this. And this will serve as our infinite source. You'll never have to place these lava blocks again. Now we'll go ahead and put some dripstone on the bottom of our stone blocks here. And as you can see, lava's already starting to drip. Then I'll go ahead and place some fluid pipe below our cauldrons, and they will connect to the cauldrons, allowing us to be able to pull out lava from them. You could also connect the pipe to the side if you wanted to, that's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and place down a water wheel here, just to give our pump some power. And since this video is about lava, we're going to go ahead and power our water wheel with lava. And that will give us the magma wheel achievement. Next, I'm going to use some cogs to hook up our pump here. I'm not going to hook up the pump right away because we need somewhere to put our lava. So let's go ahead and build a fluid tank right here. The size doesn't matter here, just build it as large as you want it. And then we'll throw on our pump right there. And just for a demonstration, I've turned up the tick rate a little bit here so that we get lava faster. But as you can see, lava is now going into the cauldrons and it's going into our tank as it's being pulled out by the pump there. Without changing the tick rate, it is going to be a lot slower, but you could always add more cauldrons. Now we're going to go ahead and build a nether portal, because in this next step, we're going to throw some buckets through the nether portal. So let's light this on fire and we're good to go. Hopefully we'll end up in a good spot where there's a lot of lava. And as you can see, we have a huge lava lake right there. So I built up some stone blocks here to allow us to place a hose pulley above the lava. And we are going to need a hand crank to move our hose pulley down. Technically you could use any kind of rotation, but a hand crank is the easiest, I think. So I built up a few blocks here, and then I can place my hand crank. And as you can see, we can now lower our hose pulley down into the lava lake. You'll know that you hit the bottom when you can't lower it anymore. And that's what we've done here, as you can see. Now we need to hook up some fluid pipe to this to extract our lava. I'm also building another fluid tank to serve as kind of a buffer here. I'll hook up a large cogwheel to our pump, and then I'm going to stick a windmill bearing onto that. And that is what's going to give us our power down here. I'll go ahead and add some sails onto this. And as you may or may not know, windmills don't care if they're in the nether, they don't care if they're in the end, they'll work anywhere. They don't actually need any kind of wind to work, which makes them great for our use case. I'm going to go ahead and remove the sails here as they get a little bit too close to our hose pulley. And then we'll use some more stone to connect our sails over here. Once that's done, we'll use some super glue to connect everything. You don't need to use super glue on sails. And then we can just click on our windmill bearing with an empty hand and we have power. We can now see that lava is being extracted into our fluid tank. And if we go look at our hose pulley, we can see that we do have a bottomless supply. And that's because what we're pulling out of here is more than 10,000 blocks of lava, which with the crate mod, it makes it a bottomless supply. And therefore we're not gonna remove any blocks from down there. The lava lake is always gonna stay the same. We're not gonna ruin anything. Now we're gonna use some gearboxes and some shafts to set up the belts, which is gonna carry the buckets of lava through our nether portal. I'm going to go ahead and use a speed controller to increase the speed of the belts a little bit. You could achieve the same thing with large and small cogs. Once that was done, I placed out a few shafts, and now I'm hooking up my belts here. So I'm gonna have one long belt and then one belt that ramps up a little bit to throw the buckets. Then I'm using encased chain drives to connect the belts to give them power. Then we need to hook up a spout to our fluid tank here so that we can fill our buckets with lava. Here I'm just going to use a bunch of cogs to power our pump. And there we go. We can just change the direction here. And now lava should be flowing to our spout. If we go ahead and throw some empty buckets onto our belt here, you can now see that they're being filled up with lava. And as they go down the belt, they will be thrown into the portal. And if we go to the other side here, you will now see that there are some lava buckets on the ground. We just picked them up there. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to put a belt on the other side here, which will catch our lava buckets. There should be some more lava buckets in the nether now that are going to get thrown. Let's watch this one here go through. And if we check on the other side, we should now see the lava bucket. Oh, there's two of them. Now, as you may have noticed, I have to walk through the portal to make this happen. So what we can do is use something called a chunk loader. I'll go ahead and link the mod that I'm using in the description below, but there are many ways to do chunk loading, which I'm not going to cover in this video. So let's go ahead and hook up some belts on the other side. Once again, I need a ramp up here at the end and just some belts to make the buckets go around in a circle here. This is because we want to send back the empty buckets once they have been emptied of lava. And right here, we need an item drain. So when the lava buckets come down the line, they're going to stop on this item drain and empty. And then we can use fluid pipes to pull the lava out of there. I'll use some encased chain drives on the other side to hook up the power here. And once again, use a water wheel to give ourselves some power. And we'll go ahead and place a large cog on top of our water wheel. Our belts are not moving, but they're moving in the wrong direction. So we'll go ahead and flip our water wheel. Once we've picked up this water, we can use our wrench to flip the water wheel to the opposite direction. And now we can place our bucket of water again. And we should see that the belts are moving in the right direction. Now we can hook up a pump to our item drain. And then we'll go ahead and connect some fluid pipe onto that. And finally, we need a fluid tank once again. Doesn't matter how big you make it, just make it as big as you want. And now we can use some cogs to power our pump and also the last belt. And we should now see lava buckets fall onto the item drain and lava's being pulled out via the pump. And it will now start filling our tank. So this side is now done. Oh yeah, I forgot about the chunk loader. We'll stick another one over here just to keep this side loaded as well. Now we're going to put some more belts on this side to handle our empty buckets as they come back. I'll use a gearbox to bridge the rotation here. And then we'll just bring over a shaft with some more gearboxes to get our belts moving in the right direction. And there we go. All our belts are now set up and running. We should just be able to throw some buckets onto our belts now and everything should be working. I decided to use a speed controller to set the belts to match in speed. But once that was done, everything seems to be working. So that's our second farm done. We now have buckets of infinite lava coming through our nether portal. And now we're basically going to do the same thing, but we're going to use a train instead of buckets. This means that we need a slightly larger portal. So let's turn it on and go inside and we'll see where we end up. Well, this is probably the worst nether portal spawn I've ever had. I'm right up in the roof over a lava lake. So after building out some stone here, we can finally place our track. And if you didn't know, track can actually go through the nether portal like so. And this is going to go ahead and generate some track on the other side of the nether portal here that we can hook up in the overworld. I went ahead and built a windmill to give us some more power. I then set up a hose pulley and brought some cogs over to give our pump here some power. And now we're once again pulling out more lava from the nether. Just like last time, we have a bottomless supply. And now we'll place down our portable fluid interface, which is going to hook up to our train. I'll go ahead and place down a train station right here. This will be the train station that our train goes to pick up lava. And on the other side, I'm going to place down another train station, which is where our train is going to go to drop off lava. I'll go ahead and set up another portable fluid interface here with a pump and some pipe, which is going to allow us to pull the lava from the train and store it inside a fluid pipe. I'll once again use a windmill to give us some power here, and some cogs to connect the power from our windmill to our pump. I'm going to go ahead and call this station Lava Drop Off, and then we need to activate the assembly mode on the station, and now we're ready to build a train. So I'll just grab some train casing and place it down to give us our first boogie, and place another train casing here to give us our second boogie. And that's going to serve as the base of our train. Then I'm just going to use fluid tanks to kind of build the train itself. The fluid tanks on the train will actually fill with lava, and the more fluid tanks we have, the more lava we can carry on each run. We will need a portable fluid interface on our train, and it needs to be 1 to 2 blocks away from the portable fluid interface that we place down our station. These fluid interfaces also need to be pointing towards each other. I'm also adding 2 controls on this train. By having 2 controls, we can go in both directions. And then I place down a blaze burner to be our driver. This train is not going to be the most beautiful train I've ever designed, but it's going to look alright, I think. So I'm trying to add a few touches to make it look better. Here I'm adding some glass, which is going to be on around the outside of the train, and just a ladder for a final touch here. Once we're done, we need to glue our train. So I'm going to place down some extra blocks here just to make gluing a little bit easier. These are going to be removed once we've actually done the gluing. So 1 in the bottom corner and then 2 in the top corner here. Add our glue, like so. And now we can go ahead and remove our temporary blocks. And that's all we need to do to glue our train. It will now be considered one train as we assemble it. I'm going to go ahead and name this train Hot Stuff, as that makes the most sense to me. And it's looking perfect. Oh, hello there. I also forgot to name the station in the nether here, so we need to go back and do that. This station will just be called Lava Pickup. Now we can go ahead and grab a train schedule, and then select our first station, which is going to be Lava Pickup. Press the check mark and then select a different condition here. We need fluid cargo condition. And we don't want this train to move until it has picked up 300 buckets of lava. And then we need to add our lava drop-off station. And once again, I'll select the same condition here, fluid cargo condition. And we want this train to have less than 1 bucket when it moves away from here. Once that's done, we can go ahead and give our schedule to our driver. And now we can see the train as it goes through the portal. I went ahead and skipped forward a little bit and also changed the conditions to make the train go a little bit faster. So in this example, it's just dropping off 1 or 2 buckets here, but hopefully it shows you what it should look like once you have this up and running, although yours will be a little bit slower than this. But now we have infinite lava from the nether using trains. The final part of this video will look at an infinite lava source by creating a 22 by 22 cube, which we're going to fill with lava from all our other sources that we've now created. To do this, I'm going to set up a hose pulley with a hand crank, and I need to get it to that level over there, which means I need to lower this about 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, and that's the highest point of this cube, which I've measured out to be 22 blocks. And by using a pump, we can pull lava from our existing sources and start filling this with lava. And basically this hose pulley is just going to fill 1 block at a time here. The lava is actually not going to start flowing. It's just placing 1 block at a time. As you can see, it's kind of slow now with my current setup. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so we can just fill our hole quickly. And now we need a hose pulley that goes all the way down to the bottom of this pit to pull the lava out. As I'm editing this, I did realize that I could just have reversed the pump that I was using to fill this hole, but I decided to set up a new pump with a new hose pulley here. And we set up a new water wheel, a new fluid tank. And once all that was running, we flipped the pump direction here, and we started pulling out lava from our infinite lava pool. And if we set everything up right, we should see this hose pulley. Oh, there we go. It changes to a bottomless supply. So that means that our cube of lava is not gonna empty at all. It's gonna stay full pretty much forever. I mean, unless you do something to it, I guess. So now we have a infinite lava source. You can pull as much lava as you want from this. There's really no limit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a like. And if you want to see more content from me in the future, hit that subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.